Hello and welcome to another BenCast, the first BenCast in the new abode. That's right, I've moved house. Very stressful couple of weeks, which I really didn't need with graphic novels, audiobooks, short stories. But, you know, me being me, had to pile it on top of everything else. So we are in the new writing alcove. I couldn't really call it a cave. But yes, I'm going to pimp it up soon, don't worry, it's still a bit sparse. But anyway, on to today's BenCast. Now, a couple of days ago on Facebook, I asked you whether you'd like to ask some questions about the new projects that I'm doing, or whether you'd like me to read a little bit of the new short story, the Emaneska short story, which has been called The Iron Keys. It should be coming out in December. It is a prequel to the Emaneska series. It is set around 7 or 8 years before the written, and it definitely does feature Farden and a couple more of your very favourite characters. It has been very, very fun writing it. It's very strange switching from Blood Rush back into Emaneska again, but it's really fun at the same time, especially writing young Farden, who is quite different from where we left him in Dead Stars. So it's a bit of a flashback, and it is set in the FER marshes, which, if you know your Emaneska lore, was where the Arca went to fight the Minotaur clans for several years in the FER skirmishes. Now, as requested, I shall read some. This is a world exclusive, don't you know, so be on it. And I'll be doing more of these over the coming weeks as well. I'll be doing some from Blood Rush, I'll be posting snippets of the audiobook as well, but a lot more Iron Keys to come. I think you're really going to like it. So without any further ado, let's go. The mist hung over the marshes like a veil around the recently dead. Grey was the air, punctured only by the occasional flashing of some firefly or cowardly wisp out there in the mire. The morning sun was powerless, lost behind the mist and low cloud, a faint memory for those who bothered to recall it. The Iron Keys had not seen pure daylight in a month. A pair of grey-green eyes narrowed to pierce the haze a little further. The mind behind them did not like the mist, especially on the morning of the battle. The young man turned, staring down the lines drawn up in the putrid marsh water, gathering in the potholes between the moss and muddy rock. The shields glistened with dew, as did every spearhead and sword blade, poking through the tight gaps in the shield line, a few axes here and there too. Brawlers, muttered the man. He scratched at his neck where some sort of vile insect was trying to make a nest, and flicked the wriggling body to the dirt. A stamp of the boot finished it off. The man shrugged and checked his armour one last time. The Arca armour he had been saddled with had immediately been uncomfortable. It was heavy for clomping through marshes and fighting towering minotaurs with a passion for man-flesh, and cumbersome too. However, after his first battle, he realised why the Mainsmark smiths had put an extra layer of steel in the fire. The minotaurs' hooves and horns could make short work of mail and thin plate, and their axes and cleavers a bit hard. The man flicked the straps and patted the thick steel plates, each an alternate colour of bronze and grey steel, the keys' colours. It went quite well with his favourite red and gold vambraces, a gift of sorts from a chieftain's son. He whipped a fleck of mud from them and touched them to each other. The minotaurs were late. "Farden!" came a shout, muffled by the thick, wet air. Farden's head snapped round, half startled by the noise. The mages and soldiers around him stirred. "What?" yelled Farden in reply. "Captain wants a word, in his tent." A loud humming rose and fell around him before his comrades fell to snickering. Farden scowled and pushed his way back through the crowded ranks. A tall, flame-haired mage with a swollen and bruised face leant out of rank as he passed, hissing in his ear. Farden couldn't help but glare at the sergeant's bars welded onto his breastplate. "I warned you, Farden, didn't I?" he sneered, half wincing. "And hurry back! I want you on that front line." Farden resisted the urge to shove his superior back into rank and kept on muscling a path through to the back lines. "I wonder why," he muttered when he was out of earshot. The mage finally broke through to the back lines at the edge of the marshland, where the ground was firm enough for tents, barracks, palisades, and even a watchtower or two. The last stronghold, Farden thought, if the front lines go tits up. Lord Vice's tent was in the centre of the encampment, surrounded by lanterns to ward off the gloom. The captain of the Iron Keys tent was an unsettlingly deep red colour, not unlike the colour of blood. It put Farden on edge, even more so than he already was. He spared a glance for the cuts on his knuckles and side. The guard at the tent flap thumped the butt of his spear on the ground. "Farden, here to see the captain," Farden told him. The guard cocked his head to the side. "Farden, written mage, here to see Lord Vice, sir." "Send him in," came the bark of an order. Farden wondered whether that was mist or sweat sliding down the centre of his forehead. "In, mage," gestured the guard, giving him a sympathetic look. "Aye," Farden grunted. Lord Vice's tent was plush, to say the least. It was as if Farden had stumbled into an antique shop that worked part-time at a library while posing as a prince's chamber. Farden almost stopped and stared, but fortunately his training kicked in. The young mage marched straight up to Vice's desk, bowed, and then stamped his foot. His eyes bored into the tapestry hanging behind the tall, mahogany-eyed man with dirty blonde hair. Young-looking for a man so high-ranking in the school, and so favoured by the Magic Council. Not every mage gets to be a lord, and not every mage gets to be a captain of the keys. Captain, mumbled Farden. You'll have to speak louder than that, Farden, when they're trawling the battlefield for survivors, or they might never hear you. If you survive, that is. Lord Vice spoke in an absent tone, as if distracted by the papers in front of him. And that's all you're getting for tonight. That is it. There's the first page and a half of the Iron Keys, and like I said, I will be reading more over the coming weeks to whet your appetite for its release. It should be out, like I said, around December, hopefully before Christmas. There is obviously quite a lot to do for me, audiobooks, graphic novels and that sort of thing. But I'm going to try my hardest to get it out there so you can have something else, a little Christmas present for you. So that's pretty much it. The other things to report are audiobooks are almost finished. They too should be out early December alongside Blood Rush and the graphic novel. I really don't know why I've done it to myself this year, but it's really fun and I can't wait to get all these things out there. So there's lots to be getting your teeth into once I do. So keep your eyes peeled on the Twitter and Facebook as usual, and like I said, I'll be doing more of these, so also keep your eyes peeled on YouTube as well. So I'm going to leave you there. Have a great night, whatever you're up to, and I'll see you soon. Bye.